Hello everyone, this is Travis Tressler at Play Tennis Gainesville, and I'm here to talk to you today about our ground strokes. Ground strokes are played from the baseline in the back part of the court, and we're going to let that ball bounce once and take a full swing at that ball. Traditionally, tennis has been a serve and volley sport, where people try to serve and get to the net as quickly as possible and finish that point up close to the net. However, in the last 20 years or so, because of the evolution in rackets and strings, that has changed drastically, and players are playing mostly from the baseline, taking full swings at that ball, getting lots of spin, lots of pace on their ground strokes. When we're hitting ground strokes, there's going to be 3 shots that we can hit from the baseline here. First one's going to be our forehand. We're using our dominant hand, one hand on that racket. For a lefty, same thing. And then our second shot will be the two-handed backhand, keeping both hands on the racket, hitting it on the opposite side of our body. And then lastly, be the one-handed backhand. We're actually letting go of that racket, separating those hands. For today's lesson, we're going to focus only on the forehand. We will go over the 2 different types of backhands in another lesson. First thing I always like to talk about when we're talking about ground strokes is the grip you're going to be using when you hit the ball. For our forehand ground stroke, there's going to be 4 different types of grips we can use. First one is going to be the continental. If you can see my racket here, I'm going to be lining up my knuckle with this bevel right here towards the top of my grip. I'll slide that knuckle over towards the middle of our grip here. That's going to be my Eastern grip. If I continue to slide it down towards the bottom, line it up with this bevel here, that's my semi-Western. Finally, if I slide it down even further, my hand's almost underneath that grip, is our Western grip. Each of these grips has its advantages and disadvantages, but just a good reference point, the further you slide towards the top of your grip, towards that continental grip, you're going to lose spin and get a little more power. As you slide towards the bottom of that grip and go underneath it there, you're going to get more spin and a little less power. So today, I'm going to demonstrate the 5 different parameters, 5 different steps for our ground strokes. I'm going to start off with my forehand. For today, I'm going to use an Eastern grip for these demonstrations. That's usually the grip we like to start with when you're first starting off playing tennis. But as you continue to advance as a player, that's something that you can go over with your coach or your pro at your club. Whether you want to slide it over to that continental or start to slide it towards a Western. But for right now, I'm going to use that Eastern grip right in the middle there. Before we get anything started here is our ready position. So I use a two-handed backhand, so I'll be feet spread out here, right hand, dominant hand on the bottom, left hand on top. Since I use that two-handed backhand, my left hand will be on the grip. However, if I were to use a one-handed backhand, I'd slide that non-dominant hand up to the throat of that racket. First thing we're going to do is called our unit turn. All I'm going to do, I'm not going to move my feet. I'm just going to turn that body slightly and slide my left hand, non-dominant hand up to that throat of the racket. Here, if I were to be using a Western, a continental grip, I would use my grip change where I'd actually move my hands to that spot on the racket I want it to be. Since I'm using that Eastern grip, that's not needed. From here, I'm going to go into my loading phase. So I'm going to step in with my opposite foot, separate those hands, and that racket's going to be back behind my body here. From here, we go to contact. That's our third parameter, third step. Make sure our strings are facing towards our target there. We don't want them pointing up, facing down to the ground. They need to be facing straight ahead so we can control that ball and get it to go where we want it to go. From here, our fourth step is extension. So I'm going to extend my arm fully, my whole body forward into that court And then finally, after our extension, it's going to be our fifth step, our follow through, our finish over that shoulder. One drill that I love to do with my students, and I grew up doing myself, is shadow swinging. This is something you can do outside. You can videotape yourself with a phone like I'm doing right now. You can go in front of a mirror in your house, a clean window, anything that you can see your reflection in, and watch yourself do it. Start with the shadow swing. I really want you to focus on those 5 steps, those 5 parameters we're gonna be doing when we're hitting. So I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna get my unit turn, load, contact, extend, follow through. This is something you can do all day. Really work on seeing yourself doing those steps and try to perfect that swing. Once you feel comfortable with this, you can actually add in some movement like you're playing real tennis. So you're moving out to that ball, hitting, recovering back to the middle. In order to perfect that swing, we got to see ourselves do it, make those adjustments, and your swing is going to improve greatly. When you're doing these drills at home, I would encourage you to use a low compression ball here if you have them. An orange ball, red ball, green dot ball. That way, if we're to hit a window, anything valuable, it is less likely to break. So, if you have children 10 and under in the house, this is a great drill to do to introduce them to that forehand grip before they start hitting that ball and taking a full swing. It's super simple. All they're gonna do is find that Eastern grip. If they don't know what that is, have them set that racket down on the ground. All they're gonna do is pick it up and shake hands with that racket. That'll allow them to get that proper forehand grip. After they have the grip, palm's gonna face up towards the sky there. All they're gonna do is try to bounce that ball up and let it bounce. Keep that ball going. If they pick up on that super quick, you can have them start trying to bounce that ball up without letting it hit the ground. And then finally, have them move around, not keeping those feet in the same place. Last drill I want to do here with our forehand is hitting against a wall. So ideally, you would have a flat wall, but I'm a little limited here today, so I'm going to be using a garage door. All we're going to do is try to rally against that wall, keep that ball going as long as we can. Great drill if you have kids 10 and under is to actually have them hit the ball against the wall and then catch it on their racket and drop feed it to themselves. You keep catching that ball. Once they get comfortable with that, you can have them start try and rally. So I'm gonna drop that ball, get it, trap it on my racket with that non-dominant hand. Get it, trap it. Once I'm comfortable with that, I'm actually gonna try to rally and keep that ball going as long as I can. Hit it once. Once you feel comfortable hitting that ball against the wall, I want you to challenge yourself a little bit. So I'm gonna try and hit one little square on this garage door here and see how many times I can do it in a row. Really force myself to focus here. Try to keep that rally going. Try to hit it to that same circle there. There's one. Oh, it's right there. Give me one more. 2. In today's lesson, we went over our forehand ground stroke. So real quick, I'm going to go over those 5 steps once again. We have our unit turn. Keep our feet in place. Don't let them move there. Go into our load, contact, extension, finish. Even though we may be stuck in quarantine right now, we can't get out to a tennis court, that doesn't mean you're not going to be able to improve your game. If you have a wall, a garage door, you can hit against that, see how many you can get in a row. If that's not possible, get in front of a mirror, do those shadow swings, really work on that swing and see what you're doing and try to make those adjustments. Lastly, if you do have some children, 10 and under at home, try to get them doing those ups, hitting that ball against the wall and catching it. It doesn't matter if you don't have tennis balls at home. You can use any kind of ball, anything that's going to bounce that'll allow them to work on that hand-eye coordination. Thank you everybody for watching today. I look forward to talking to you again soon.